Kathy with Chair Yoga, and here we are in a session for seated poses. Today I am going to go over some basics first and then go through a regular practice with most seated poses. I will cue the standing poses, but I'm going to focus on seated. So this is Chair Yoga, and we are here to just keep moving, showing up, and doing what we need to do to feel good. I do want to mention that there are some things that we want to remember, such as if you have osteoporosis, I'm going to be mentioning doing a flat back forward fold and doing very minimal mini twists, because we want to protect the spine, we want to protect all the joints, especially, but particularly the spine. And also, if you have joint pain and arthritis, it's very good to keep moving gently like we do here. If you have any lung disease or breathing problems, you're going to notice I mentioned diaphragmatic breath. But you also want to make sure that you don't stop breathing, because circulatory issues, that can be putting more pressure on you. So continue breathing. Sometimes I'll reference the breath, but not all the time. If you have chronic pain, it's always good to keep moving and just be gentle with yourself. Eventually, sometimes things do ease up, and it's interesting to watch that happen. Okay, so to get started, let's sit in the chair in chair mountain pose. And our feet are comfortably on the floor. We have our props nearby. Can be whatever you want. I have a couple little tennis balls. I have a block or a small pillow, things like this. We're going to try and keep it pretty straightforward today. So I may not use any of those props. As you inhale, you can roll your shoulders back, bring the shoulder blades down the back, and let yourself rest against the back of the chair. If you do not have a chair without arms, that's okay, because it's all about adaptation. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It's not about how you look. It's about moving and feeling good. So I have a chair with no arms, but that doesn't mean that you can't do this if you have a different kind of a chair. So here we are, and our chair is supporting us with our feet flat on the floor, our sit bones firmly in the chair, and our back gently against the back of the chair. And we sit up straightish. We don't want to overextend. We don't want to have any effort. We want to be easy here. As we take a few nice, easy breaths. Diaphragmatic breath aims towards bringing some breath down into the diaphragm, which is just between the navel and the bottom of the rib cage, the bottom of the sternum. So if you place your hand here and you notice you're breathing into it. And sometimes when I'm trying to make sure that I calm down and let my nervous system really settle, I'll put my hand here above my chest just to make sure this is quiet. Doesn't have to be 100%, but just quieter. When we go into fight or flight, we can breathe more into our chest, and that signals the nervous system to be very active. And on a regular basis, we want to work on calming our nervous system, letting our body settle. Okay. So now that we've gotten our easy breath, take a moment and think about why you want to feel better. Is it for relaxation? Is it for mobility? Is there a little bit of balance you want to do, which we're going to be working on in our next session that I'm working on next. What is it that you want? Personally, I want to feel good at least part of every day, no matter what's going on. And the things that we work through here are just basics that we can put into our arsenal of what we can use when we need to. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to scoot forward into the middle of the chair, and what we want to do is always remember to elongate before you rotate. And I'm sitting up straight. I'm not overdoing it. And if you're tired at any point, just sit back, scoot back, rest a little bit, and then come on back. Some days are easier than others. But if you keep showing up, little by little, things become easier in some areas than you really expected, and it can be a nice surprise. So I'm sitting nice and tall. I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts, which is stripes. And I'm imagining my tailbone, my lower back, my middle back, and my thoracic spine, which is behind the shoulders, kind of between them and down. And then there's the cervical spine, which is from the base to the skull. Take a big breath, exhale, let everything settle, and then elongate. You see, elongate it, imagine the space between the vertebrae. As we age, our vertebrae can settle a little bit, and instead of being parallel, they can kind of wedge a little bit, with the wedge being usually in the front. So we want to learn to elongate before we do certain other things. A couple little breaths. And we're going to elongate your left side. And I'm pretending I'm in a mirror to you, so when I say left, it's your left. And you do not have to raise your arms. If you have issues with either of your shoulders, you might just raise one arm. Or you might want to quiet this side a lot because you might have had something happen or be recovering from something, and you can just kind of quiet it. You can keep both arms down, you can put both arms up. It's all about whatever you want to do. You can do cactus arms, whatever you want. And as we go forward, remember that you have to pick exactly what's right for you and be very careful with it. And then things will get a little more limber and you'll feel you're more comfortable. I'm going to go all the way up. I hope my shirt isn't going to make anybody dizzy. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale down. Notice I'm going pretty slow. We don't want to do anything too fast. Inhale up. Stay there. Exhale. Next time you inhale up, let's elongate the left side. Inhale up with the left side, and we're not really tipping. We're staying steady on the floor and in our seat. Exhale. Inhale, right side. Exhale. This time, notice your ribs on your left side. Inhale, extend. Exhale, down. Inhale, extend. Your right side, exhale, down. Okay, very good. Now, you can stay right where you are for the next part, but you might want to have your prop nearby to make sure that you balance yourself. I like to scoot over a little bit, scooting over just a few inches to the left. Grab this side so that the hinge, the natural hinge of the elbow can help me. And find your comfortable position. Now we're going to inhale up again and stay there. Stay there through the exhale. And this time, soften your right shoulder. Inhale up and tip over using that hinge of the elbow. You see that? Stay there, exhale. Inhale, notice your ribs on your left side. You're supporting yourself with a prop or your elbow. Exhale, come on down. What we've done is we've opened up one side. Spine moves 4 ways. We elongated, now we're going side to side. Now I'm going to scoot over to the right. I'm going to grab the chair with my left hand using that hinge. And when I go up and I tip, I'm going to remember to soften this shoulder. Inhale up. Stay there, exhale. Inhale. Tip just a bit. Exhale. Think about your ribs on that left side. Inhale. Exhale. Very nice. Okay, so we've moved 2 ways. We've moved up and down, and we've moved side to side. Now we're going to move back and forth. And we're going to do it in basic, straightforward, careful ways. We're going to do a mini back bend, and then we're going to do a flat back forward fold. And the reason is because sometimes we have a little bit of twinges or we have some issue, and it's very good to know how to do all these things without causing any more problems. So I'm going to turn sideways. You can stay straight forward. And I'm going to show you that I actually have a slight curve to my back there. You may be able to see it there. So when I go to do my mini back bend, it may not show up a whole lot, but it's there, and I know it's there. And there's a really simple way that I like to do this. First of all, if you'd like, you can grab your hands on the sides there. You don't have to, but you can just put your hands here if you'd like on your thighs. And you want to keep your chin neutral. And there's a real quick thing we do to make sure we remember that, and it's called turtle, which I love because my name's Tuttle. So here we go. We're going to do the turtle, and what it is moving your face forward and back, not moving your shoulders really, keeping your body pretty settled. Here we go. Forward, back, forward, back. 2 more. Forward, back, forward, back. Now what this does is it places your chin and your cervical spine in a neutral position, which is very, very good as we move forward here. All right, so we inhale, roll the shoulders back, keep the neutral chin, stay there, exhale. Inhale, keep the shoulders back. This is your mini back bend. Exhale, bring them forward to neutral. One more time, roll them back, inhale, chest comes out, opening up, exhale, neutral. Let's try one more. Roll the shoulders back, inhale, open up the chest, neutral chin, exhale. Okay, so that is the mini back bend. I'm talking real mini here. Here we go with the flat back forward fold, which protects your lower spine. I know we can all do more sometimes, but we want to start with what feels good. I mean, maybe you'll be working in your garden and you'll do a little too much, so you need to know where to start. So we're going to do the flat back forward fold. Take a nice long inhale. On the exhale, roll the shoulders forward, bring your hands down, flat back forward fold. My forearms are on my knees. Come on back, inhale up, let's go back down. Exhale, roll the shoulders forward, come on down, flat back forward fold. Take a moment and notice your back is flat here. You may not go as far as I do, that's okay. The important focus we have is the flat back. Come on back up. Now we're going to combine this to one of the most powerful things we can do for our back. And that is called spinal waves or cat-cow. So, we're going to combine the mini back bend and the flat back forward fold. So I'm going to do 2 that way, and then the last 2, I'm going to do a little more of a forward fold. But you don't have to. It's important that you are the boss of you. Here we go. Inhale, mini back bend, open up the shoulders, neutral chin. Exhale, come on down, flat back, forward fold. Inhale, mini back bend, nice neutral chin. Exhale, flat back, forward fold. The last two, I'm going to go lower. You don't have to. Inhale, mini back bend. Exhale, flat back, down to a full forward fold for me. Inhale up to a mini back bend. Go to a flat back and then all the way down if you want. Your head can hang down a little bit and then come on back up. That is cat-cow. We're going to do 3 more of them. Your choice of how you do it. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Remember, it's your choice. Inhale. Don't do just what I do. Exhale. We all have to take control of ourselves. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Very good. Now we're going to come back. We're going to do some regular rotations now that we've elongated and we've warmed up the spine. So what we're going to do is not overdo anything today. We're going to pretend that we have a curve here, like an arch, where our clavicle is. And, you know, it's not exactly like that, but that's what I want you to imagine. We sit up a little bit. We're going to drop the chin down. Now, it can be this far, or it can be that far. It can be whatever is good for you. If you have any issues with your cervical spine, you have to adapt. Okay, we're going to drop, and then look over, just trace over to your right. Drop down, trace over to your left. Now, did you see what I did there? There's an arch that I'm going for here. And my chin is dropped down, and then it goes to the left, and then down to neutral, and then to the right. So let's do that again. Drop the chin, shift to your left with that arch, tracing the clavicle to the other side, drop down, go to your right. I mixed up my mirroring. Drop down, go to your left, come on back and sit up. Okay. Now we're going to look to your left and then your right. And we kind of keep ourselves just relaxed here. We're not going to move our shoulders. We're not doing any of that yet. That'll come next. Just the head. And if you've ever had trouble on one side and not the other, maybe backing out with an older car like I have, this is really helpful because it'll help you to gently lengthen those muscles that you might not use that often. So here we go. Tipping to your left, bring it to neutral, look over, shoulder to your right, come on back to neutral. We're going to do one more time. To your left, come on back, to your right, come on back. All right, now we're going to pretend that we're going to bring our ear to our shoulder on either side. Now we're not really going to do that. So you can either just leave your shoulders nice and quiet and remember to keep them down, or you can do what I sometimes do, which is put my hands, my tips of my fingers on my shoulders, or even like this. Either way. So let's do it this way this time. So we sit up tallish, and you tip over with the ear going to the left shoulder. Come on back to neutral. Notice my body isn't moving at all. Tip to the right. Over to neutral. Tip to the left. To neutral. Tip to the right. To neutral. Excellent. So we've got this all warmed up. Now we're going to do some shoulder work. Let's just roll them. Roll them nice and easy. going to do the wrists. And for the wrists, I'm going to turn sideways, but you can stay forward. One of the things I like to do with the wrists is, starting at the elbows, I kind of tuck my elbows to my rib cage. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. We want to try and focus the attention on the wrists and less on the arms. So maybe the lower arms will move a little bit as you rotate them, in the wrists, moving the hands around the joint, but not much. And then go the other direction. This is something you can do all the time. Now, our hands always need a little attention if we do some work with them, whether it's outside or computer work or anything. And there's something called spider fingers, which is one of my particular favorites. And so you can see it. I'm going to do it showing you where you can see it against the curtain. But you can do it just right here in the middle in front of your face. And you're going to arch your fingers so that it's as if there's a spider looking at his companion in the mirror image on the other side and pressing the fingers hard against himself, the mirror image, to try and get to it. Now, the key is the pressure on the fingers and then release. But notice my wrists are still together. So I'm going to do this on the side so you can see it. And you continue right here. Ready? I'm going to move over. My wrists are together. Here's my palms together, prayer pose. But I'm going to now arch the fingers against each other and the thumbs. And I'm going to press, 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 flip. Press, 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 flip. One more. Press, 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 flip. And this is always a good spot of the practice if you'd like to massage that joint a little bit. One of your joints. My basal thumb joints sometimes need a little loving care, and I'll give it to them right there. Okay. All right. So we've got ourselves pretty much warmed up. Now we're just going to do our first mini twist. Can you see how many that is? If you have any osteoporosis, if you've had any surgeries, if you've been out in the garden too much, anything that might be going on, you just want to gently warm up right there. Now we're going to do a 3-part warm-up. It's going to gently move the lower back in a twist, the middle back in a twist, and the head, the neck, right here in the basal joint. So if you're ready, here we go. We're going to cross your right hand and touch just underneath the shoulder. Point to me, and we're going to take a nice inhale. And you twist starting at the waist, then the shoulders, then the head. Take an exhale. Take an inhale. Come on the exhale, back, head, shoulders, waist. Very, very gentle, very effective. We're going to try the other side. Place your hand across your chest, just under the shoulder, your right shoulder. Point with your left. We're going to be turning to your left. Take an inhale. On the exhale, twist gently from the waist, the shoulders, the head. You're not going very far, and that's okay. Take an inhale and come on back with the head, shoulders, and waist. That is our first gentle twist. And now that we've done that, we're going to warm up our hip joints. And since we're seated today, I'm going to do this seated, but if those of you who are standing would like to recall, we stand and we are midline straight up and down, but then when we shift over to one side, we anchor the standing leg, we pull up on this hip a little, we soften the standing leg knee, and look, I'm tipped a little. See that? And that pulls up this foot, so you can just gently rock it, and then you're going to be doing the same thing as a seated, just doing mini circles, okay, and then swinging. So work with me today, and next session that I record, it'll be standing folks, and I'll prompt you seated folks. So, if you're seated, you don't have to move anywhere. You want to scoot a little forward in your chair. If you would like to scoot over a little bit to have your left buttocks off the chair, you can, but you don't need to. If you do that, you're going to want to hold on. So I like to hold on anyway. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to scoot forward. Then we're going to imagine grounding ourselves on the right side. Okay? So notice I'm tipping just a tiny bit. Then we're just going to move the joint, front and back. This can be awkward. It's harder seated. I like to scoot around to this side of the chair so I have a little more movement. You don't have to. You can just lift it up and down if you want. And don't go any further than is comfortable and then stop. It's harder when you're seated. So don't try and do too much there first. Now we're going to go around in a circle. Standing people and seated people are doing the same. So we lift the foot. We do mini circles. I was doing bigger ones, but I like the mini ones. Just to warm that up and then go the other direction. All right, excellent. Now, place the foot on the floor, rest for a second, and then we're going to lift it up again and rock the lower leg in the knee socket. We're not doing high kicks, we're just rocking it. You see that? Just little rocks, little rock back and forth. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. And again, if you don't feel comfortable putting some of your buttocks over on the empty side of the chair where there is no chair, you can do it here and just go like that. Okay. Scoot over, left the leg, and we just rock it back and forth in the socket. And stay stable, hold on. All right, and rest a minute, because it is harder for seated folks. Getting old isn't for sissies. Getting recovered from injuries is not for sissies, but we can do this. Now we're going to just rotate very gently and go the other direction. We're rotating in the hip socket just to warm it up, get that synovial fluid build up, which is in our hips. Then we're going to rock the leg, the lower leg, in the knee socket. We're not rotating a darn thing here. Knees are delicate. We watch them, we're careful. Okay, so we're doing great here. Now we're going to finish with the feet. I like to hold on a little bit. I'm kind of a little forward in the chair, so I hold on because we want to pay attention to our feet. We won't want to think about anything else. Just want to hold on here. I'm going to step forward so my legs are out and I can point and flex, point and flex, point and flex. That's the best. Then let's bring them back a tiny bit, lift up and rotate the ankle. Remember how I said with the wrist, how we weren't moving the lower arm very much? Same thing here. Let's go the other direction. Look down and see, are you moving a lot or just a tiny bit? I'm moving a tiny bit. But it takes time to figure that out. Let's lift the other foot and rotate. And try and keep the knee kind of where it belongs, not moving too much. Now go the other direction. And the lower leg's going to move a little, that's okay. But mainly we want to have that ankle get some love. All right, bring it on back. So there we go. We've hit it all the way down the body. Now we're going to do one of my favorites, which is chair pigeon. And one side often is different than the other. So here I am seated again, nice and comfortable in my chair. And I'm going to suggest moving the right foot a little towards center. Maybe not all the way, but just a little, because it seems to help a little bit with the strain on the hips. So we lift the left foot and cross the left ankle over the right ankle. This naturally is going to open up the hip joint in your left side. Then you take your left hand and you just place it on there. Don't press. Just place it there. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can release the joint a little more. And if you have any issues at all with any injuries or treatments or surgeries, you want to really consider staying at this point for a little while. This is level 1. Now we're going to head into level 2. And we want to raise the left ankle up onto the left knee. Now, I had a person who had problems with this, and what I suggested to them is they move it down so the left calf was on the left knee, and that seemed to help. So that's something to consider. And then you, again, take your left hand, place it on your knee, take an inhale, nice and long spine, and on the exhale, see if you can relax into that left hip joint. This is level 3. Depending on how much of a forward fold you do, that will determine how much the opening is. So again, if you have osteoporosis, you want to stick with your flat back forward fold and see how that feels. But if you feel pretty limber, you could try more. And I'm going to do more, but you might want to stay here. Inhale up. I fold my arms, exhale down. I place my left elbow on the knee, not push. Take an inhale. On the exhale, let the right foot support you strongly on the floor. See if you can get some ease in that hip joint. And inhale up, exhale down. We're going to do the other side. Remember, one side is very different sometimes than the other. So be the boss of you and make sure you do what you need to do. So we inhale up. I forgot. Let's move the left foot over a little bit to the midline. Help ease the strain. Inhale up. Exhale. Place the ankle across. Take your right hand, place it on the knee. Straighten up. Take a breath. If that feels good, you might want to try level 2. Here we go. Inhale up. Remember, you can go to mid-calf. Exhale. Let that settle. See how it feels. It is very common for one side to be different than the other. So, now, we inhale up. Exhale, bring the right elbow to the right knee. See how that feels? Take an inhale. Exhale, see if you can settle into it a little more. And there we go. We've worked the entire body. We've opened things up. If you'd like to do a little more, you can do some things like you can do a little more of a twist, which is always good in the spring. You can also do something else, seated right here. And if you're standing, you just stand up and do it. But if you twist, you always lift your opposite foot, the heel. We're going to do a very basic reaching exercise, which is going to open up the side body. And I'm going to move my feet over a little bit apart so they're very stable, and I've got my supports here. And we don't want to overdo it, because sometimes when you're not used to breathing a lot, you can get a little bit lightheaded, which is why I like to have these things nearby. So we're going to reach up. I'm going to show you first. We're going to reach up, then side, then down, then down. I want you to notice I'm focusing on seated today, and I'm not overdoing anything, because it's so easy to overdo things and then say, oh, geez, why did I do that? we're taking it easy today. So, nice and long spine. Remember, I'm not tipping too far to the right or left. We're going to keep going with a nice pace here. We're not going to speed up on this session. Inhale up, inhale up, exhale down. Reach to the side, reach to the side. I'm not worrying about breath. This is to make sure we keep breathing. I'm going to do a few more. How does that feel? Think for a minute. Does that feel good? Sometimes after the second or third one, it starts feeling a little better. Side, side, down, down. All right. So, we've worked the whole body. We've done a really good job with our little session here for seated. Now, we go back to where we started. We're going to sit back here in the chair and find my favorite pose, chair mountain. Feet are flat on the floor, my sit bones are firmly anchored, my behind is way back, and my back is supported by the chair. Roll the shoulders, drop them down, find your nice easy breath. And you want to try and notice if your inhale is about the same as the exhale. And you'll notice I have my hand on my chest because I always try and notice if I'm breathing up high. I try and not. Try and settle it. So you get that nice easy breath. Then, if you'd like, you can place your hands on your thighs. You can continue watching me, or you can close your eyes and gaze at the floor. Or gaze at your knees. Take a breath. Notice the crown of the head, the forehead, the hollow of the throat, your heart center, the navel center, the sacrum, and the base of your spine. Back up to the base of the spine, the pelvic area, the navel center, the heart center, the hollow of the throat, the forehead, and the crown of the head. When you inhale, imagine energy and nourishment coming in through the crown of the head and filling your entire body with wonderful things for your physical body, your emotional body, your psychological body. And then on the exhale, let the toxins and stress leave through your fingers and toes, releasing anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Inhale energy, exhale toxins. If you'd like to bring your hands to heart position, thank yourself for making time today for your practice. And as always, showing up is 99.9% of this. Every day I do this, I feel better, but I don't do it every day. I do it a couple times a week, and that's good too. Just show up whenever you can, and we'll be ready to do this. Thank you so much. I'm going to walk over and turn off my recording.